Psych Opinion.
It was the dancing plague of 1518.
That's wild.
Yeah, have you guys heard of this?
No.
Okay. So dancing plague of 1518, this is a real thing. This has been recorded throughout history, very, very well recorded through, historians. July of 1518, residents in the city of Strasbourg, at that point in time, it was a part of the Holy Roman Empire. Now it's part of France. There were people that were automatically struck with this sudden, uncontrollable urge to dance. Okay? So, this woman, known as Frau Trophia, and I probably pronounced that wrong, but she stepped in the street and began to silently twist, twirl, and shake. Okay? And she kept up her solo dance-a-thon for nearly a week. And before long, some 36 other Strasbourgians, or people from Strasbourg, the residents of Strasbourg, had joined in. By August, the dancing epidemic had claimed as many as 400 victims. You got 400 people that are dancing. Okay? So they're dancing. These people are just imagine walking outside and they're just dancing, right? So, with no explanation for the phenomenon, local physicians blamed it on hot blood. And we all know that back in the day, there was just, let's put leeches all over our bodies and bleed people out to make them feel better. So,
Take some lead shavings with your vermouth.
Let's shove mercury in their ass. That'll. It's
scientifically proven.
Yeah, exactly. So it was. So they said it was hot blood and suggested the afflicted, and that's why these people were dancing was hot blood. And so finally they constructed a stage. Professional dancers were brought in. The town even hired a band to provide background music for this thing.
That's awesome.
So this dancing just starts, and then all of a sudden the town's like, you know what? This is weird.
But let's embrace it.
But fuck it. Let's just go ahead and make it a thing. Let's just have a festival. And I think in a way, it was kind of partially done to try to understand what was going on, but it was also maybe have this thing and get it out of everybody's system and it'll be over. I'm not really sure. Either that or it was just as cool as fuck it, let's do it, So they hired a band, but it wasn't long before this started to take a toll on people. Many dancers were collapsing from exhaustion. People were having strokes, heart attacks. People weren't stopped. They wouldn't stop though. I mean, people were starting to fall out. And it didn't end until September, when it says when the dancers were whisked away to a mountaintop shrine to pray for absolution. So I guess that stopped the dancing, was taking everybody away to pray for absolution. This whole thing probably sounds like it's full of shit, but this is well documented in the 16th century historical records. It's also not the only incident of its kind. Similar manias took place in Switzerland, Germany, Holland, though they were not nearly as large as the one in 1518 in Strasbourg. But this has even happened in other places. So then they're asking themselves, realistically, scientifically, how could this be? According to a historian, John Waller, the explanation most likely a concern of Saint Vitus, a Catholic saint. In the 16th century, Europeans believed had the power to curse people with a dancing plague. So there actually was a Catholic saint that was his ability. So they really kind of contributed this to him. When this was combined with the horrors of disease and famine, both of which were tearing through Strasbourg in 1518, the St. Vitus superstition may have triggered a stress-induced hysteria that took hold of much of the city. So not only are they saying that this could be a result of St. Vitus, but also that maybe the stress of the things that were going on in the times were causing people to be hysteric because of probably the belief of this St. Vitus, and kind of subconsciously this happened, which I think is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's some type of trance that would take them over, I guess. And I mean, you see that type of transcendental state
Yeah.
where they become something other than what they normally are.
Like the Berserkers.
Yeah.
The Vikings.
For the Vikings,
Yeah.
I mean, you see it with. It doesn't even matter where you're from. If you're like, I know that happens a lot in like India and Southeast
yeah.
Asia. It doesn't matter where you're from. The trance state is something that happens. I'm wondering also if maybe it's something akin to like lockjaw, where the muscle spasms are. So it might be like a physical thing
Oh, yeah.
as well as the mental state.
Well, there were other theories, and some just were as simple as it was a religious cult, and others were actually a little more science-based, and I almost have a tendency to sort of go this route myself. But there was a theory that they might have accidentally ingested a toxic mold called ergot.
Okay.
And it grows in damp rye and produces spasms and hallucinations. When I kind of looked up what this toxic mold was, it was kind of similar or related to like LSD. So there is a theory that there is like hallucinations involved, and that this really was kind of almost like a mass food poisoning type, not necessarily food poisoning, but
A mass hallucination.
yeah, because the rye may have been infected with this ergot.
How long does that
Constantly.
hallucination last?
I'm not sure, but they're saying that this thing went from July to September.
Well, I mean, if the city's grain storage gets infected with this
Yeah.
fungus,
And if they didn't know, they kept
Yeah.
eating it.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
then it kind of makes sense that it could happen.
So, and I wonder if that has. And I didn't really look into the examples that happened in Germany and other places, but I mean, if it was something like that, that could actually explain why it would happen in multiple places.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just, I mean, I don't know. It's such a strange historical thing that happened. I've heard about this in multiple places throughout my life, and I think to me the best part is that I just get downright absolutely hilarious images in my head. Just thinking about these random people just like
people
dancing
twirling
to
about
no
in the street.
music.
Twerking.
You know, and if this were to ever happen to me, I hope that I would live in a place cool enough where they're like, you know what, let's fucking just have a concert. Let's get some bands in here. Let's give them some rhythm. You know, let's give them some something to dance to. So, anyway, that's a thing that happened.